Brilliant. Welcome to the call, ladies. It is Camille here from PrioritizeLove.com, and I have the pleasure to do a short video, a video interview this morning with the fabulous Robert Kirby, the founder of the Heartfelt Relationship Workshop, and of course, very, very experienced personal development expert over the last, how many years now? 25, 30?
28 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing. So, as always, we usually talk about committed, loving, and heartfelt relationships. And one thing, we just had a quick chat, and one question I get asked a lot by my clients or potential clients is the question of why should I have to work so hard to attract a great partner? Why is it so easy for other women, it seems, to have a great relationship, and why should I actually have to work for it and do personal development? What's your take on that, Robert?
Yes, Camille, I hear that all the time too. And the problem is life just isn't fair. I keep going back to the whole idea of our foundations of our personality. So even though there's many women out there, they want to build a nest, they're ready, they have a lot to offer, they're intelligent, they're successful, they're beautiful, and the right guy doesn't seem to come their way. So one of the things I notice is what happened in their early life. So what we look at in character analysis is 5 wounds. The first one is feeling unwanted in your family of origin because of the dynamics with your parents. And whether you were wanted or not, if you feel unwanted, and then people often carry that. They're in a relationship and they may love their partner and their partner loves them, but it just doesn't feel right. And it doesn't really go anywhere because it's almost like that wound is standing in the way. The second one is abandonment that comes in the first year of life. If people have a core abandonment wound that they don't deal with, they expect it to be abandoned in the relationship, and they'll set it up with the guy, so they end up abandoned anyway. They somehow unconsciously push that guy away. In other words, I'm going to reject you before you reject me because it's too painful. And then the third one is being suppressed. Whether they grew up in a family where one or both parents were suppressive to the children, or at least that person, and they wind up with controlling men, or they work for a controlling boss. So we keep repeating these patterns. And the fourth one is the broken heart. And so that's so devastating because a lot of times we talked earlier about someone breaks your heart and you want to go out and love again, but you don't realize that you have a wall up. And so men feel that. They feel, well, yes, she is lovely, but it's going to be hard work because she has that little bit of edge to her. Doesn't mean she's not amazing. That doesn't mean she's not a lot of fun. Doesn't mean she's not affectionate and a wonderful woman. It just means that defense is up only because there's unfinished business.
And they can feel that. They can feel that energetically, right?
Yes. And of course, with men, women can feel it in men, that men are unavailable. They could feel that instantly. Men can see it because we're more visual.
Right.
Because the testosterone is more visual and the estrogen is more, they feel into the guy. Could I build a nest with this guy? Is he available? Would he be a good dad? So many women have said that I've been with over the years in relationships is like, I always felt you'd be a good dad because they know how much, like today, I'm in contact with a lot of them. And they say, like, we can see how much you love Liam, but I always felt that. So that ticks a box for the woman if they think the guy would be a good dad, So there's things, but men look visually, is she available? Is she emotionally available? And you know what's always fascinated me about women, Camille, over the years? It doesn't matter what generation, but I would go to like a barbecue, or it could be like a Christmas party, or it could be a corporate mixer, or just a pub. And there'll be a woman there at that event who's not necessarily the most drop-dead gorgeous woman in the room, but her vibration is so high, her heart is open, and she's playful and having fun. She's not being seductive. She's not coming on to the guys. She's just available. The men are eating out of her hand. Then I could see 2 women sitting at the bar, alone, with each other. They're drop dead gorgeous, but they have a wall up, and the men are afraid to approach them because they feel they're going to get rejected.
Fascinating.
And those women can be like the most amazing, lovely women, but because they've been hurt, a lot, when woman is very beautiful, a lot of men come at them and they often end up getting hurt because they don't have the boundary and they don't test that out. So I think that those 5 core wounds, I see usually someone has 1 or even 2 that dominate the personality. And to the degree that you could resolve it, you could be in the moment and sort of like brand new. Life is brand new. Even though you've been hurt in your 20s, you could be brand new at 30. You could be brand new at 40. A woman could be brand new at 50. But if she's carrying that baggage, the men are going to say, oh, well, put her in the too hard basket, She might, and she's not conscious of it. So
it's not, she might not be, and that's the thing, like a lot of women, I guess, they might not be aware of how they actually come across, and it can stay a blind spot for a long time.
Yeah. It's no different with men, but we're just happen to talk about the ladies today.
Yeah, so. Just talk about women because I mainly have female clients, but it would be exactly the same for men. So
exactly, yeah.
And so what is the what's the solution? I guess the first step is really just taking risk. Taking our power back and thinking, okay, well, even though I would rather maybe not want to do all this personal development work, it's the only way for me to reclaim my power and for me to really
Exactly. Yeah. So look, we all need help. You know me, I've been at this, facilitating, teaching, coaching, for decades, almost 3 decades. But I'm still working on myself all the time. I have a therapist, I have a coach, I have an acupuncturist, a deep tissue body worker. If I want to be free and available to help people and make it safe for them to go into deep process and heal these things, then I have to be a pure spirit. Because if I shut down, people wouldn't be able to trust me. So I think we never stop working on ourselves. It's very important.
And it's an ongoing commitment, and it's so worth it because we get so many benefits from it. So I guess it is that whole thing for people who haven't done much personal development to really reframe how they look at it, because it is really about liberating ourselves, as you said, empowering ourselves. There's another great side effect that I got when I did a lot of work with you, many years ago, probably about 14 years ago, I started core energetics with you. It was just a real alignment to my authentic self, increased passion. I connected.
You really connected to your purpose.
Absolutely.
And one thing I could say about you too, Camille, for the viewers, is that you work really hard on your self-love. Because when we hurt, there's fear. No matter how much a woman has to offer. So when love arrives, fear departs. So the system can't hold deep self-love and all that fear and that anxiety about is this going to work out, and is he sincere, is he going to call, and all that. Because when you love yourself, then you're not attached. If it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. But so many people, I think I see women today, they're because we have a generation of men who are like spoiled brats, because women can really be forward and make it too easy for men. And so men can get into a relationship with a woman who has lots to offer, but he's not vulnerable and he's got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And I see women want to pull their hair out because, of course,
he's not stepping up.
He's not stepping up. Yeah.
And we talked about that briefly. Let's touch on that a little bit more around the whole, and it's great to hear the male's perspective with that. Men do need to feel their testosterone, and then they do want to actually pursue a woman, where if the women are too much in their masculine, which a lot of the women I coach are, they do have that tendency, and so did I, very much so. I was like, okay, well, this is what I want. Let's get on with it. And the guys were sort of like, she's attractive, she's intelligent, but they were really thrown off by my direct alpha sort of masculine energy. So why is it important for women, even though we're equal, to still be more in their feminine energy when it comes to dating and romantic.
It's so important. Women can be in their masculine in the workplace or running their business, but when they're dating or at home, they have to be able to allow that feminine energy, that nest building, that invitation, so the woman is allowing the man to come in and enter her nest and build something with her and get to know her. But if she's forcing the relationship, not consciously, but if there's a demand there, then the guy doesn't exercise his hunter. It's in our DNA. I'll give you an example. Let's say, this is just an analogy, of course. Let's say a bunch of guys, they want to go fishing out in the lake and catch a bunch of trout. So the night before, they're having a few beers, they're getting all their fishing equipment ready. And so they early in the morning, they wake up at the crack of dawn and they take their gear with them and they go out into the middle of the lake, and 30 trout jump right into the boat and they're flopping around. And they don't have to go fishing. It's like, it's too easy to go, oh gosh, what happened to our day? Yeah, we'll have a nice dinner tonight. We have all these trout, but we didn't even catch one fish. They caught us. So
they don't feel that same sense of achievement or satisfaction.
There's no sense of satisfaction. When the man feels like he's won her heart, he feels like, I had to work for it. She wasn't all that available. She didn't dive right into the boat. She made me win her heart. And in order to do that, he had to be vulnerable to win her heart. It wasn't so mechanical. It wasn't just, on an appointment Saturday night for dinner and sex. It was like, let's get to know each other. Let's talk about what you want, what I want. And so I think women need to be, believe it or not, need to be much more selfish in sort of asking, what do they really want? Do I really love myself? And if I do, I'm going to hold a space. I'll let this guy know I'm interested and let him come get me. If he doesn't come get me, then he's not the man I'm looking for.
Yes, so important. And one thing I hear a lot of women complain about, which is very much aligned with this topic, is, but he's not as fast as I would like him to be, or I'd like to initially have 2 dates a week, and sometimes he just doesn't. So I guess it's tricky for driven women to be a little bit more patient, because it does take men probably a little bit longer to actually know if they really want to pursue a certain, a woman too.
That's right. So let's say they grew up in a family where their dad felt trapped. So they have this conditioning. Even if they don't agree with what dad did, he's their role model for a man. So if dad was emotionally unavailable, unless he heals his broken heart, he'll do the same thing. There's an amazing book by Firestone, The Fantasy Bond, and he says men will behave exactly like their father as they get older unless they heal their broken heart. Even if they don't like the way their father treated their mother or the way they were parented, because conditioning is so strong, we swear we wouldn't do that to our kids or to our woman, but we do.
So the bottom line is we are all complex human beings, and we all have these layers, and unless we do the inner work necessary, it's quite complex.
Yes. So I say my advice to the ladies, because I work with lots of women too, as you know, is look for the guy who's going to be vulnerable. And if he's not vulnerable, then there's no real intimacy for the woman. And women cannot live without the emotional intimacy. Men can, because they just stay safe. They keep their heart closed.
Absolutely.
But for a woman to be with a man whose heart isn't open, she just feels used after. Even if she cares deeply for him and he cares about her, if he can't be vulnerable and share his feelings, or say, send a text during the day, I'm thinking of you, it's just, she gets his intellect and his opinion, his thoughts, but she never knows where she stands.
100%. And I guess another piece to it is she actually does need to send out that invitation and not have that ice queen wall up herself. So there is it takes two to tango.
It works both ways. It's 50-50. Yeah, there's no doubt.
Well, lots are so much juiciness in this conversation. So tell us about the upcoming one-day workshop in Sydney, the Heartfelt Relationship Workshop.
Well, the Heartfelt Relationships, can you believe how time flies? Because you and I have known each other for so long. This workshop was around even before I met you. I probably met you 15, 16 years ago, but it's almost 20 years now. and people absolutely love it. You know, of course, it's free. You can't beat the price. But it's not Robert lecturing to people. It's an experiential exploration of our patterns and issues. So we can make them first conscious and then clear them. We do as much as we possibly can in one day. And you know, we show people what is possible. We do demos of how to do releasing of issues. We do demos of constellations. I do character analysis for people. I test their vibration on a scale of 1 to 10 because, you know, Einstein said vibration is all there is to it. That's what makes the world go round. And so sometimes we shut our vibration down over time because of overwork or stress, or we've been hurt. So the heart has a lot to do with it. We could close the heart energy down front or back. So I'm giving people all day long feedback, and then they can come and get a muscle test at the break. And I do demos of how we get traumatized in those 5 wounds that I discussed, and how it holds us back in life, in every avenue of life. And I want to say another thing. People like you've gotten yourself into with a wonderful man, you're going to have a family very soon. People, the research shows that people in long-term relationships are happier, they live longer, they're healthier, they make more money, and they're more successful because they have that foundation. They have a base camp. They have that person, you know, their woman or their man who's got their back. And it's such an important thing in life because so much stuff gets thrown at us. And these are the things that, you know, let's clear everything we possibly can so that the viewers and the attendees can have that. So that's why I call it experiential. And it's 9 to 5. It's in North Sydney. It's 275 Alfred Street, but you're going to share a link with them.
I'll share the link.
So
it's the 17th of March.
It's the 17th of March. Yeah, sorry. It's Saturday, not this Saturday, the following Saturday. Yeah. Perfect.
So even for anyone in Melbourne, there's plenty of time to organize a flight to go.
That's right. Yes, it's worth it. It's worth a flight, and we've had interstate people come.
Absolutely.
Just for the day. We've had people come down from the Sunshine Coast, a couple, and they've just rejuvenated their marriage, and now they have a second child coming. So it's all really exciting.
Beautiful. So yeah, it is, again, to make it clear too, it is for singles and people in relationships.
Yes. If you're in a relationship, and of course there's always issues coming up, and you know, the big thing over time, as you know, is resentment builds up because none of us are easy to live with. No. And so we want to learn how to clear those relationships and not blame our partner in arguments because it builds just a bigger and bigger wall. So these are things that we go over: conflict resolution, you know, being more present. One of the biggest complaints I hear from men or women, you know, I still love her or I still love him, but they're just not present. They're preoccupied with work or stress or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so couples need to learn how to be present and grounded and just to be there and share life with their partner as often as they can. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And so, for singles, we challenge them to clear this stuff, the historical stuff, and from childhood, so they can raise their vibration and be a beautiful attractor field for the great partner. Yeah.
Amazing. I look forward to, I was just going to say, I might send, you know, it's an ongoing it's an ongoing commitment to be in a great relationship. So once baby is born, maybe, you know, in 6 months' time, Alex and I will come up and do a nice, you know, maintenance.
Awesome. I would look forward to that. Yes, I'd love to meet him. Yeah, he'd be very welcome.
Perfect. So I'll share the link, and as always, thanks so much for sharing your wisdom. If anyone's got any questions, I guess also send through any like your best email is info@robertkirby.
No, send it directly to me. That goes to the office. But if you want to ask me a question about the day or anything else, it's robert@robertkirby.com.
Easy. So, perfect.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Thanks so much, Camille. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
Have an amazing day. Thanks again.
You too. Talk to you soon. Bye.